Hello, welcome back to Kooktae TV, the place where we dive into every moment, highlight, and story that shapes the relationship between two big names, Kim Taehyung and Jungkook. And today, we're discussing something that has left armies around the world speechless. HYBE separating Taekook? Jungkook's icy stare? Taehyung's departure from the side of the magne who has always seemed inseparable? What's really going on? That moment lasted only a few seconds, but the world seemed to stop spinning. The cameras that never stopped following every step of BTS managed to capture a sharp gaze from Jungkook directly toward Taehyung. Not the usual warm gaze. No faint smile, no meaningful glance. Just coldness, as if two worlds that once merged are now slowly drifting apart. And at that moment, Taehyung walked away. Slowly but surely, he disappeared from Jungkook's side. Without a word, without the usual body language that signaled warmth. Just steps, one by one, moving away from the person who had never been apart from him, even in the midst of a sea of people. Something had changed, and ARMY knew it. For true fans, this isn't just a small moment. It's a crack in the foundation we've always believed to be solid. Taekook, who's always been present in laughter and silence, now shows an unusual side. Not fanservice, not manufactured drama, but a reality too painful to ignore. The question is, why? What's behind all this? Some theories are beginning to emerge. Is this a strategy from the agency? HYBE, known for strictly controlling member interactions to maintain the group's narrative, is now accused of meddling in the personal dynamics of the members. And the target this time, Taekook. Anonymous sources have begun leaking that HYBE is creating distance between certain members, especially those who are too close in the public eye. There's concern that Taehyung and Jungkook's closeness is starting to be seen as disrupting the professional image they want to build. But for us, the fans, that's one of the reasons why BTS is so beloved, their authenticity. Imagine two people who have grown up together for over a decade, through thick and thin, now having to keep their distance due to external pressure. It's not just about work, it's about feelings, about friendship, about the bond built since their teenage years. And what's most noticeable? The silence. They no longer appear together like they used to. Taehyung, who is usually expressive when with Jungkook, is now often seen being quiet. Jungkook is also more reserved, no longer spontaneously calling or touching his Hyung like before. For those who don't pay close attention, this might seem normal. But for ARMY, even small changes like this are a major red flag. And of course, ARMY is divided. Some try to think positively, calling this just a transitional phase, maybe they're busy with their own projects. But others feel this is excessive control from management, and it's deeply painful. We love BTS not for their perfection, but for their honesty. Taekook isn't just fan service. They're a real story about two people who care for each other, who grew up together and share a world only they understand. Now, that world seems to be closing, not because they wanted to, but because they've been told to. We can't forget how Jungkook used to quietly watch Taehyung during practice. Or how Taehyung would quietly wait for Jungkook to finish performing. All those moments form the bigger puzzle called Taekook, and now, one piece is missing. There was a viral video a while back. During an event, when the camera focused on Jungkook, he briefly glanced toward Taehyung, who was sitting far across the room. His gaze was hard to describe. There was longing there, or perhaps disappointment. Or maybe both. And when their eyes met, just for a moment, Taehyung immediately looked away. Is this a sign of the end of their closeness? Or just a temporary pause in a relationship too deep for outsiders to understand? We don't know for sure. But one thing is clear, there's a wound in ARMY's heart seeing these two friends no longer as they once were. Yet despite the bitterness, this also serves as a call to us all. To continue loving them unconditionally. To support them, not just as our favorite couple, but as individuals going through an extraordinary process of growth and pressure. Taehyung is currently exploring his career as a solo artist. Jungkook is also focusing on building his global career. Perhaps, in the constant noise of the world, they need space. And sometimes, that space comes in the form of silence, or even distance. But if there is indeed intervention from management, then our voices matter. ARMY is not just fans, we are the force that has kept BTS standing. We have the right to speak out that the closeness between members is not a threat, but a strength. So, what's our next step? Keep loving. Keep supporting. Keep remembering the beautiful moments of Taekook without burdening them with unrealistic expectations. They are not fictional characters, they are real, and they are human. And when night falls, when the stage is empty and the studio lights are off, we imagine them sitting on opposite sides of the room, staring at their phone screens. Maybe there's an unsent message. Maybe there's a longing held back to maintain the role they must play in front of the world. Behind the fame, there's a silence that can't be filled by fans' cheers or the glitz of the stage. Sometimes love, in any form, must go through a phase of silence. Not because the feeling has faded, but because the world is too noisy to let it breathe. Taehyung and Jungkook, who once looked at each other so freely, now seem to be learning to hold back their expressions. Learning how to be friends in silence. Or perhaps, learning how to love from afar. But no matter how far they go, the shadow of each other never truly fades. Because the connection built over more than 10 years cannot be erased by schedule adjustments or management scripts. It lives in the way Taehyung still stares blankly when Jungkook sings. It grows in the way Jungkook occasionally glances toward the spot where Taehyung should be sitting. And that is their strength, in their imperfections. In the unexplained pauses. In the hope that still burns, though small and quiet. ARMY sees it. We feel it. Because love doesn't always have to be seen to be celebrated. Sometimes, it's enough to simply believe that two hearts are still connected, whether through a song, through memories, or through those quiet moments only they understand. If Taehyung and Jungkook have indeed grown apart for professionalism or to protect something greater, we respect that. But we also hold on to a small hope that behind the cameras, behind the busy schedules, they still greet each other. Still remembering each other. Still Taekook. Thank you for watching today's emotional episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to keep up with their story. Whether you're a true ARMY or just discovering Taehyung's magic, this channel is a space to celebrate his voice, visuals, and personality that have captivated millions of hearts worldwide. Join us in loving and supporting V, the visual king, the emotionally charged vocalist, and the true artist. This isn't the end of the Taekook story. It's just a new chapter, waiting to be written.